My name is John Martin. I am the Community Outreach Coordinator with Seeds of Literacy. We are a nonprofit in the Cleveland area that helps people anywhere between learning how to read all the way up to taking and passing the GED. I am going to share my screen. I've got some information on here. If you have any questions at all, you go ahead and ask. Or you can put them in the chat, but if I have no problem with if something pops up and you have a question, if you just want to unmute and ask the question, I don't mind that at all. So this information, so approximately 66% of Clevelanders are considered to be functionally literate, which means they're at or below a 4th grade reading level. And what we do at Seeds of Literacy is we want to work with those people in order to help them achieve whatever goals they may have. And a lot of the goals that people have require at least a high school diploma or GED. So that is one of our biggest goals. We get a lot of people that ask that when they come to us, they've left school for a variety of reasons. We do not like the word or the term dropout. People had to leave. Some of them had to leave in order to take care of family members. Some of them had to leave in order to start working so that way they could make money to help out their family. Some people were pushed out or pushed through the school system, and we actually get that quite a bit. Also where they just didn't feel like they were being supported either at home or at school in order for them to finish. And that can be anywhere from family members to teachers to school counselors that may have told them maybe he doesn't do. No one should ever be told that. No one should have ever been told that. And so we like to go through and we support our students. We support them 100%. If someone passes a section of a test or they finish an assessment, we celebrate that. Those are huge accomplishments for a lot of our students. Our students are not lazy. They're not stupid. They didn't care. Something else happened in order for them to leave school. And so anyone that may think that about themselves or think that about others, please don't, because there's actually so much more going on that led up to that decision that we want to make sure that you feel supported and you feel like that you can succeed with us. What it means in everyone's day-to-day lives to be considered functionally illiterate. A lot of the big things that hit, like you can see on the screen here, is medical. Do you understand the doctor's orders when you have to go to urgent care or the doctor or the emergency room, when they give you 2 or 3 pages that are full of medical terms? Do you understand what that means? Do you understand the directions on a prescription bottle when they give them to you? For example, if a prescription says take twice a day, well, when do you take those? Do you take one in the morning, one at lunch, one in the morning, one in the evening? That's usually the way the split is on those, but there are some people that might take both doses in one time because they don't want to forget that second dose later on in the day. Looking for a job is huge for people. And the majority of jobs that you apply for now are online. They are done on the computer, and those forms are not always easy to fill out. And so a lot of our students have issues filling out job applications. Also understanding your bills and the mail that you get. I know that I did not know that I was getting a rate increase in my electric bill a few months ago until I specifically went through and read my bill. And it was kind of tucked in there. It was something that I had to read all the way through in order to determine what exactly was going on with my bill. And then the picture of the bus there, it's getting around. Some people may not be able to read the signs or read the street signs when they are using RTA, but they know that they maybe get off the bus at the Family Dollar down the street. So they use landmarks. They've learned to succeed in their day-to-day life by using things that they know. Medically, this is an interesting fact, and this is for, in general, anyone. You forget about 80% of the information that you are given from the doctor's office. They give you so much, it's hard to remember all of it. And the thing is of that 20% that is remembered, about half of it's wrong. That is common across the board. It does not matter who you are. That is a very common statistic. So if someone has issues with reading or issues with comprehension, that sometimes even less. That's why a lot of people will go to the doctor with a family member, so that way it helps them to remember more information that the doctor has talked about. Um, in the trades, this is huge for a lot of people, is just in general with a job. Unemployment rate is about 50% higher for those that do not have a high school diploma than those that do. And then with that, a lot of people end up getting stuck in the level jobs because there's a lot of certifications or tests that need to be taken in order to move up the ladder at work. And so you need to have an understanding of the terminology and the business itself before you can take those tests. And some of our students come to us to help them with that understanding in order for them to take some of those tests. In the legal system, I actually don't have any information to put on here. I just haven't gotten to it yet, but it is about 1/3 of people that have a high school diploma or GED at a minimum are less likely to reoffend and end up in jail again. The solution is us here at Seeds of Literacy. We are an award-winning one-to-one tutoring program. We empower adults to thrive. We empower them in their communities to help fight the root cause of poverty, which is illiteracy. What we do is, you'll hear me say the term GED a lot, and actually I should be saying HSE, which is a high school equivalency exam. It's the same thing as having a high school diploma. The other part that is on there is HiSET. That is simply another name of a test that you can take, which is a high school equivalency. And then adult basic education. We do have students that come to us that have a high school diploma, but they were pushed through the school system. And so they did not get a lot of those basics for math and reading, which they need for a lot of their day-to-day lives, or if they want to move on to maybe go to Tri-C or to apply for a job. And so we do help people that already have a high school diploma help improve those math and reading skills that they would like to work on. Another thing that we look at here is just how literacy can affect your day-to-day life. The biggest one on their job performance, like I mentioned before, was can you take that certification to move up, to get that promotion at work? Reducing recidivism, that's that not returning back to jail because you have been able to get that education, which helps keep you maybe employed or something like that. The couple of ones that go together on here, preventative health and curative health. If you know about preventative health, going to the doctor regularly, getting your annual checkups done, things like that, then they can catch things before they become an issue and you're not ending up in the emergency room. Your primary care doctor can go through and help you take care of that before it becomes an issue. If it becomes an issue, now then it becomes curative health. Sorry. And what that does is now they're treating whatever it is that you may. A lot of people utilize like the payday loan places or the car loan places, and the rates that are on those are not good. They are actually very high interest, very high fees. And if you understand that with financial literacy, maybe you would be more likely to go to your local bank or your local credit union to try and get a small loan versus using the payday or the car loan places, because you're going to pay a whole lot less by going to a bank or a credit union than by going to those other places. And advocating for your child's education, that one is huge. We've heard stories of with our students that their kids, they didn't get to go on a field trip or they didn't get to participate in something at school because they didn't know what the letter said when it was brought home, sent home by the teachers. So just knowing some of that, and then if your child has maybe an IEP or a 504 plan, those programs that where they need extra attention or extra help, there's a lot that goes into that, and there's a lot of writing that goes into that. So you need to be able to understand that. So we have three locations, we like to say. We have our east side location, which is 139th and Kinsman. We're in the same building as the Department of Senior and Adult Services. And then on our west side, we have West 25th and Clark. We're in the same building as Esperanza and US Bank. And then our third location is on Zoom. We're able to do uh, our one-to-one tutoring program is available on Zoom. So that way if you can't come into our classrooms, your schedule doesn't allow you to because you're cutting it too close on time, or maybe you're just an Ohio resident in general. We take anyone from the state of Ohio, then that way that's going to be your ability to be able to attend our program. Some ways that our program is different from others. The biggest one is we're free. We don't charge for your registration. We don't charge for materials, the tutoring time. We don't charge for practice tests. And so we do that as a way to reduce one of those barriers for our students. Next way is we call it class time. I've kind of said class a couple of times, but it is actually tutoring. There is no one teacher sitting in front of a classroom teaching a whole group of people the same thing. That doesn't work for adults in general, first of all. Second of all, the way our program is if we're taking people from anywhere from learning how to read all the way up to taking the GED, there's a wide range of skill levels that are there. And so the one-to-one tutoring makes sure that you're working with someone that will help you at the level that you're currently at. We do not have a strict attendance schedule. Our students are able to come as often as they're able. We understand that our students have lives, their parents, they have jobs, something else might come up. And so we don't hold them to an attendance schedule as far as, oh, you've missed 5 days in the last month, you're no longer a part of our program. No, we don't do that. The only time that we pull anyone from our active status as a student is if they've missed at least 90 days in a row. And so that's what we go by as far as an attendance policy. But if you can only make it once a month, great. If you can make it once a week, great. If you can make it once a day, even better. It all depends on what your availability is. Also, every one of our students works at their speed. You could get a math packet that's 25 pages long. Just for example, I'm really not sure exactly how many pages they are. If you get through 2 pages in a day with working with a tutor and they're really working with you to make sure you understand it, 2 pages is great. If it's a packet where you think you've got it and it's pretty easy for you and you get through all 25 pages, that's great also. It does not matter to us. It's whatever you're comfortable at, and it is what your understanding is of the topic versus just getting through the packets. I already mentioned the different ways to participate. We've got our 2 in-person locations, and then we've also got our virtual option on Zoom. And there's no set time to graduate. If you're in our program for 3 months and you test and you graduate, great. If you're with our program for 6 years, that's also great. That does not matter to us. What we look at is, do you understand the materials and are you ready to test before you take them? We get a lot of questions from people in regards to that as far as, how long do I need to study for math? I've been out of school for 5, 10, 20 years. How long is it going to take me to get my GED? Or I only went through 7th grade. How long is it going to take? The answer to that is, it depends. It depends on each person. It depends on what grade you left school, what you were studying when you left school, how much of that you retain, and how long it's been since you've been in school. So every person is different, and that's why the one-to-one tutoring works so well, is because it's individualized. You could have someone who has been out of school for 5 years, but they remember a lot of the stuff that they were taught in school. And you could have someone else who's been out of school for 5 years and they go, I never even touched some of this stuff. So they might need to go back and learn a little bit more of the basics before they move on and get ready to test. There is a very much a difference between adult learners and child learners. First of all, our children are mandated to go to school. It's, they're required to go to school. For our students, they choose to attend us. They have life experiences. They can apply those life experiences to what they're learning. For example, on that, I like to tutor math if I get a chance. And so I like to use the math and show them how they're going to use that particular math in everyday life. If you're going grocery shopping, if you're going to do a car loan, if you are budgeting, so that those types of things, I like to make sure it's applied to what they already know to help them understand it better. Our students have additional priorities outside of class. I've mentioned this a couple times already. They're parents, they have jobs, they're involved in their communities. So those are all reasons that when we have our students come in, we appreciate them and we celebrate them because they are making an effort to be there each time. And big one, a lot of our students are embarrassed by what they don't know. So many of our students believe that they're the only one that has an issue reading, and that's not true. Our students range right now from 18 years old up to 89 years old. It's never too late, and it's to work on whatever you want to do to improve yourself. Don't be embarrassed. You're not alone, and we're here to help. And we're not going to judge for whatever level you might be at. We're just there to help. A generational impact. If you teach the parent, you reach the child. The number one indicator in a child's literacy is actually their parents. And so if we can help the parents by improving their math and their reading skills, we're already helping the children, because the parents are then going to be able to help their children more with homework or things like that. I'm going to try to play this. Anna, if you could let me know if the sound is actually coming through or not, because I'm going to hear it through my speakers, but I'm not sure if the sound will play.
The sound isn't playing.
Okay, then I am not going to play the video. I will make sure that you can use this. But this is Abigail. She was one of our graduates, and she talks about absolutely loving working with her tutor. She had one that she did end up being paired up with consistently in order to help her meet her goals and to be able to pass that math test. So I will make sure that that is available. Oh, come on.
Jan, try again and see, please.
Okay, let me see here. I want to say, I'm going to try something really quick also here, because I remember seeing it on a different setting. Oh, and it's not on there now. Are you getting sound on it?
No.
Okay. I will try and figure that out, and I will make sure it gets to you.
Thank you.
So this is the process for our students when they decide to start our program. The first thing that they have to do is register. That is, the registration form is done on our website. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to fill out. There's a lot of information we ask. Do not be discouraged by that. It is something, a lot of the information is something that we need for to keep track of numbers. We need to carry a lot of data with the information about our students. We do a lot of asking, did you have issues learning in junior high or high school? Were you ever in a special education program or things like that? It helps us to get to know you a little bit more on that, and then you can actually explain it more to us when you start coming to us. Once you fill out the registration, then your next step is to attend an orientation. We offer the orientations every single week. So it's not like you fill out the registration, now you're gonna have to wait until November, December to start. If you were to fill out the registration form, your next step is orientation. We offer orientation virtually on Zoom every single Monday, and then in person at our West 25th location every Tuesday, and in person at our Kinsman location every Wednesday. Once you attend orientation, you're going to get a link to take the TABE, which is the Test for Adult Basic Education. What that test is going to do is help us determine what level you're at in reading, language arts, and language. And those are the basis of everything when it comes to the other tests in the GED. So once we have those levels, we will start you at that level when you come into class, we're either virtually or in person. We do offer the tutoring four times a week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and 3 times a day, 9 to 11, 1 to 3, and 6 to 8. Our Kinsman location right now does not have the 6 to 8 class, but our West side and our virtual classroom do. And then once you go through and you've been a part of our program, and the next thing to do is you take a practice test. The practice tests you have to pass before you can take an official test. And then after you take all of the official tests, then you are considered a graduate. The picture on the screen right there is our graduating class, part of our graduating class, actually, I believe from 2022. We do hold a graduation ceremony every year for our students. Cap and gown, you walk into pomp and circumstance, you get to invite your family and your friends to come watch you. And we do that every year. It's an amazing event. I love to be there to see our students accept a certificate. Just for some quick numbers as far as how many people we've helped, we get about 1,200 people sign up for our program each year. Some of those people might graduate within a couple of months. Some of them might be with us for a couple of years. This last year, which ended in June, we had 121 graduates. We had 576 sections of the GED were passed, and we did that all with almost 27,000 volunteer tutor hours. So we very much appreciate our volunteer tutors because they are the ones that are working with our students, and they're the ones that help us to reach these goals. This is just some contact information for us. There's our addresses, our phone number. My email is that outreach at Seeds of Literacy, and then student engagement at Seeds of Literacy. That is our orientation coordinators. So they are the ones that actually run the orientations. I know that, I'm trying to find my button here to stop sharing. There we go. I know I just kind of briefly went over some of the stuff with the GED test itself, but I'm going to go over a bit more of the information. The GED is made up of 4 different tests. It is math, science, social studies, and reading and language arts. Each test is worth 200 points. You need to have at least 145 points in order to pass. The practice test you have to take first. So we pay for all practice tests for all of our students. They run about $8 a piece, I think, right now, and we pay for all of those for all of our students because we want our students to be able to see if they're ready to take the test before they actually do. And then when you go to take the official test, the cost on each section of the test, so each of those 4 sections is $36 for each section. We actually get vouchers from the state of Ohio, which takes $20 off of each section. So what that means is each section is $16. The nice thing is we do 16, times 4, that's $64 to take all 4 tests. You actually don't need to sit and take the GED like you used to have to, where you had to sit and take all sections all at the same time. In 2014, the test went completely virtual, so it's all done on the computer now. It's all multiple choice. And when that changed, they changed the way that you take it. So you don't have to schedule an entire Saturday to go to maybe a high school or a library to sit and take all of these tests, which take about 8 or 9 hours. What you can do now is, you know what, I'm going to focus on my reading. I'm going to get my reading done and I'm going to study on that. Then I'm going to take a practice test. Then I'm going to take the official test. You pass the official test, and then you can move on to maybe your math. The reason why I say reading and then math before science and social studies is you need to use those reading and those math skills in both the science and social studies tests. So I just see Anna asked the question there, do we pay for test fees? We don't pay for the official test fees, but we do get those discount codes. But then we do pay for the practice tests. And then do you offer one-on-one or group classes for the test prep? It's all one-on-one. It is, even if you are getting ready to take the official test, you work on that when you are working with your tutors. We have the different materials that lead up to getting ready for the test. And then we do have different materials for studying maybe a practice test, some of the stuff that's commonly on the GED. I'm trying to think if there's really anything else. Does anyone have any other questions? Let's see. Can a person walk in any time to receive tutoring services, or they should schedule an appointment first? In order to actually receive tutoring, you need to be an active student of ours. And what that means is you have to go through that registration process, attend an orientation, and take the assessment. Because we want to be able to know what level you're at before we actually sit you down with the tutor, because we want to know who we're going to pair you up with. What tutor knows the material that you are going to be starting on? How can someone become a tutor? What is the process? I love that question because that is what I did earlier today. I helped recruit some tutors at Case Western. Go to our website. There's a tab that says how you can help, and it says become a tutor. The process for that is you fill out the registration form that we have for becoming a tutor. You have 3 different options to take for tutor training. Our tutors must attend a training before they are allowed to start tutoring with us. We offer an in-person, which is usually on either a Friday or a Saturday. It's like from 9 to 1-ish, 9 or 2. We have a virtual option, which is a Zoom meeting, where that's done in the evening, usually on like a Wednesday evening. It goes from 6 to 7:30. And then the next week you do it again from 6 to 7:30. Our third option is an asynchronous training, which means you register and then you say you want to do this asynchronous training, and our volunteer coordinator, Christina or Christine, we've got 2 of them, and yes, those are their names. They get you set up with an account in order to take the asynchronous training. You watch videos, you answer a couple of questions throughout, and that puts you at the point to be ready in order to become a tutor. Once you finish the training, you do an observation where you come into a classroom, either virtual or in person, and you see how it works. And then from there, you are able to come in when you're available in order to tutor. Any other questions? Does the test have an writing essay part? Yes, it does. It is not worth a lot of points. So we have a lot of our students that take the reading and language arts test. They do not do anything for the essay and they can still pass. It is worth very few points for the amount of work that you have to put into it. So you will have some programs that might say, yes, absolutely, you need to write an essay. Other programs will say, no, you do not need to. as long as you score high enough on the rest of the test. Me personally, yes, it could be a time thing where you're not going to get a lot of points if you do extremely well on the written part. However, I think it's always really good practice to at least attempt that and see, because it gives you the comprehension between two different writings and then coming up with a which one has the better argument. That's the basis of what the writing part is. The math test, is it hard? Depends on who you ask. There is a thing called math anxiety and there's a thing called test anxiety. So math test anxiety is very big for a lot of people. The test goes up into algebra 2. You're going to be doing quadratic formula, you'll be doing some graphing, things like that. You are able to use a calculator. It also depends on if you're taking the test. You can take it at home as long as you have a clean room with nothing up on the walls, things like that. You cannot have anyone come into the room when you're taking the test if you do it at home. So we actually have a room at each one of our locations that can be used as a quote at home test site because we are not an official test site, or you can go to an official test site. The calculator, there is one calculator that is allowed to be used on the test. If you are testing at home or in our location, you can't actually use an actual calculator. They supply it for you through the program, and it is up on the screen, but it is identical to the one that you would use. If you are in a testing center, you can have a calculator, but you have to make sure it's the proper one. There's only one brand, one model that is allowed. What are some tips that you would give a student that's preparing to take the test, especially those with testing anxiety? Big things with test anxiety. I'm just going to go over a couple of things from personal experience. One of my coworkers actually does go over some of the stuff with test prep. Try to relax. Breathing is huge. Take deep breaths, center yourself. Try to bring your heart rate down, your blood pressure down before you start taking it. I know it's telling you to do it versus actually doing it are not the same thing, but those are probably some of the best bets to do it. Can you show the website? I have a question on that. Are you talking about our SEEDS website or with the GED website? I can show you GED.com. I do not have a login for it. Let me allow this. And I will share my screen again. So this is GED.com. On here, move some stuff out of my way. Okay. There is an about the test. So there's the subjects. There's different rules for different states. The cost. There are some states where they're not allowed to charge to take the test. The way your scoring works, you can schedule directly through their website. If you need specific accommodations, those have to be documented. They have to come from a doctor. They may or may not approve them. Some people might get extra time to be able to take the test. Some might get extra breaks. Just know with your breaks on the test, you're not allowed to leave the room still. So because they are worried about that possibility of anyone cheating. I know something else that you cannot do while you're taking the test is you cannot read the questions out loud because they are afraid of people recording the test questions and test answers. Under the study, there is GED Plus, there's different classes, there's online classes. You can take a practice test, there's practice questions. There's a ton of resources on the website for GED takers. Your grades and transcripts, or grads and transcripts, you can go through request. Once you have passed the test, you can request your transcript to show that you have passed in case you need it for going to college or if you need it for a job or anything. Some of these I've looked at, not much though, I'm not going to lie. That isn't a part of my job, so I'm not involved in that part very much. And then there is a blog and there's a podcast on here if there's anything that you're interested on there. Any other questions?
Well, I guess that you did such an excellent job that you cover all of the questions that people may have. So Jan, thank you as always for being such a great partner, for always providing great resources to our residents. We appreciate that you took the time today from your busy schedule to share this information and this time with us. If you can just please add your information in the chat
Oh,
box,
yes.
and I will, if you can send me your presentation as well. Like I say, we're uploading these big videos in our YouTube channel, and our IT department can work on that, making sure that it's being added to your presentation. I think it will be great.
And just as with that also, I know that I get different referrals from the different family support specialists, our self-sufficiency specialists. If anyone is interested, anyone has any questions, absolutely reach out to them. And I know that they send me the referral form, so then that way we can make sure that, and I will reach out, or I'm sorry about the sirens behind me. They're coming down my street. So please reach out to them, get that referral through them. They send it to me directly, so then I'm able to reach out to any of the residents to make sure that they get that information. And then, so there I put my title here at Seeds of Literacy. My email is outreach@seedsofliteracy.org. And then our phone number there is 216-661-7950. Any questions, feel free to give me a call, feel free to give me an email, but also please reach out to your self-sufficiency specialist, because they know that I'll respond to them, and they know that I will get that information to them as soon as I can.
All right, so thank you so much, Jan, again. And with that, this concludes our presentation. So you may disconnect now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna.